my name is Nihan Kaya, and I'm an author of 9 books in Turkish. 5 of them are novels, 2 of them are collections of short stories, and 2 of them are more academic books on literature and psychology. So I studied English literature at Boğaziçi University, and then I did a master's at the Center for Psychoanalytic Studies at UK, Colchester. It was a part of the University of Essex. So psychology is an important part of my writing, whether it is fiction I'm writing or whether it is the other stuff that I'm writing that are not fiction. So very simply, I think I can summarize it as such.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that we're both alumni of Boğaziçi University. And actually, we first met like in the context of writing and authorship. So, like, you're an accomplished author. You're almost to double-digit books, and I'm sure you're very excited to share your 10th book with the world. But why don't you start by telling us about where we are and how you like to work? So tell me about your workspace and how you like to structure that.
Actually, now I'm writing my 10th book, which I'm going to submit to my publishing house in August, and we plan to have it published in November. So this is the place actually where I'm writing my 10th book. So this is my desk on my left. So this is where I usually spend the most of my time during the daytime, and I keep a small library here because uh, these are some of the books are the books that I really need help when I'm writing. So I tend to get rid of the books that I don't need. I have more books at other parts of my flat, but these are the books that I tend to have more help when I'm going through something. When you're writing fiction or non-fiction, sometimes you need other books because a book is always relevant to other books, even if it's just a novel. So what else would you like to know? It's actually very simple, as it is just the desk and the chair and me most of the day. And yeah.
Well, the first thing I noticed about your workspace is that it was very tidy. We did talk a little bit uh, about the things we have in common and my own experience as a writer. I'm like not an accomplished writer, but it might be because my workspace is very messy. I don't know. There might be some correlation. But I also notice in that the collection of books that you reference over here, that all of the books, uh, for each shelf, they're all the same height. So it has a very linear effect. So can you tell me a bit about how that happened? Was it subconscious?
Sure. Well, you're not the first person who is referring to how tidy I am. So when they first enter my living room, usually the first reaction is, "Are you obsessive compulsive? What is this? Because this is really like crazy to some people." And I reply that um, all the books that I have read since very early childhood, since the books, including the books that I don't remember, they are in such a mess in my mind that I have to keep them in exact order in my living space. So this is why actually they seem to be in pretty much order, but in my mind, I both remembered them, but at the same time, they are like the one in another. So uh, yes, they seem to be in such an order, but at the same time, they are not organized in terms of. Some of them are novels, some of them are just not novels, so one next to a very irrelevant book. But yes, the size, it matters to me, as you can well see. So, yes, thank you. This is a remark that I get very often. Thank you very much.
Uh, Beyond the thought that you give to your collection of books or your research library, we can call it, what other thoughts do you give to the decoration of your home, giving examples from your living room?
Well, actually, there are not many items in my living room. I try to keep it as minimalist as possible because I I prefer to work in silence, and I prefer to work in tidiness. So the less the number of the items in my living room, the better I concentrate. So, as you can see, there is just one couch and one armchair. They are all as minimal as they can be, but it's very difficult to keep a living room as minimal as such. But I'm just trying to achieve that.
So, how do you respond when there is an interruption, perhaps some excessive noise outside or someone coming to the door?
Yes, this is one of my problems because being human is like being interrupted, even if there is not an outer interruption. When you're writing, you get hungry, so you need to get up from your desk and prepare something to eat. And I'm very unhappy with that, but this is just about being human. So I'm trying to tolerate all these things, and I'm trying to reply less to my messages, and I try to minimalize the sort of outer reactions from the outside world. So I'm just trying, like everybody else is.
Uh, so, when you have visitors to your home, like scheduled welcome visitors, do you have any specific rules for them when they come inside?
Um, actually, I tend not to have many visitors, but when I have visitors, maybe I ask them to remove their shoes like you do. Sometimes I give them slippers, and if they don't have the proper socks, I always keep new, not opened socks for them, especially for my foreign friends, because they are not really used to removing their shoes in a living environment. So generally, I think this is how it is.
Have you thought of putting your initials on the socks?
No, no, because I give the socks to them as a present. After them, they keep the socks. So